Doctors, we are live.
Very good evening to all of you on behalf of the Tamil Nadu Ophthalmic Association. As the president of the Tamil Nadu Ophthalmic Association, I welcome you all for this very, very important, interesting, innovative webinar. The Tamil Nadu Ophthalmic Association Young Innovators webinar. As you all know, Tnoa is shining and Tamil Nadu is smiling, and that is the theme for this year. And we are doing exactly that. Week after week, we are having some webinar or other. And as you all know, the first Saturday of every month, we have the Walk the Talk series, which has become a huge success. Then the second Friday of every month, we are having the TNOA ARC PG Masterclass, which is also receiving a lot of appreciation from the postgraduates and residents. And on the fourth Sunday, we have the TNOA Connect series for the practicing ophthalmologists, connecting all the major institutions. I got this idea from people like John Davis and Prasanna Venkatesh, the young innovators. These young innovators are all from, most of them are from Tamil Nadu, you know that. And these people are doing a wonderful job. I thought we should all encourage them. And that is the main idea, objective of this webinar. So that everybody should know what is happening as far as the innovation is concerned. The TNOA Young Innovators webinar is going to do exactly that. We've got a fantastic galaxy of speakers and a galaxy of panelists. And these panelists, I'll be introducing them a little later. They are also innovators in their own way. In the sense that all these panelists who have chosen, like Dr. Suvan, Kumar Doctor, Dr. Venkatesh, and Dr. J.K. Reddy and Dr. Sujata, who unfortunately will not be joining us because she's got COVID. But otherwise, all these innovators, all these guys, our panelists are all fantastic. They are innovators. They are lateral thinkers in their own way. And that is the reason why I wanted them, so that this session can be very interactive and also useful for all the ophthalmologists as well. Friends, as the president of the TNOA, I have the greatest pleasure, because I have got a fantastic team with me. It's like Team India, and the team is encouraging me to do all this work. And we have been having very innovative programs. For example, the Publish and Prosper, wherein we are encouraging the peer-reviewed publications, which with a cash prize of 2,000 rupees with a medal and citation. Till now, more than 40 people have received this citation and the cash prize from the TNOA. Apart from that, we have had two quizzes, one on the World Sight Day and another recently on the New Year Day as well, which is a national quiz. And the cash prizes have also been given. There's 15,000, 10,000, and 5,000 and two consolation prizes. We have the ophthalmic photography competition, and we have probably given a 360-degree coverage to each and every subspecialty of ophthalmology in this year of TNOA. I have to thank all the office bearers of TNOA for supporting me in this venture. With these few words, I hand over to our Vice President, our President-elect, Dr. Ramakrishnan, who has been the source of inspiration for all of us. Dr. Ramakrishnan doesn't require any introduction. He is the director of the Aravind Eye Hospital, Tirunelveli, and number one glaucomatologist in the country. Over to Dr. R.K., please.
Thank you, President Dr. Mohan Rajan, respected President Dr. Mohan Rajan, Secretary Dr. Madhavan, and other office bearers, Dr. Atik, and my dear wonderful panelists for this wonderful session on innovation, Dr. Venkatesh, Dr. Kumar, Dr. Reddy, Dr. Pavan, and Sujata, and also the speakers of the day. Warm good evening to all. as pointed out by our president, it's every week we are having some form of academic activity to cater to the needs of all the cadres in the field of ophthalmology, starting from the not even doctors, fellows, and postgraduates and practicing ophthalmologists. We have a session conducted for the ophthalmic nurses also in the form of sterilization and other optometry and so many things. It's a wonderful thing we are doing for more than past 4 months. And of course, this is the first time we are having this innovator session, especially to encourage the
Noise,
young,
please. Somebody, yeah. That noise is there, yeah.
Young innovators. This is quite becoming more popular, especially in the era of COVID. For the past 2 years, there's so much of innovation in the patient safety, in patient examination, and also in the surgical field. So much of innovation that has come up from our own ophthalmic fraternity. I have to thank all the panelists, especially Dr. Reddy, who has done so much of things, Dr. Kumar, Suman, and of course our own Dr. Venkatesh, who is heading the field of innovation urban system. It's mainly to encourage and to bring up the excellent talent in the not only in the doctors and also in the other paramedicals and technicians, etc. And that way, there's so many things have come up in the last 1 year, which will be very, very useful for our day-to-day practice, so that we can give a safer and better care to the patient. That's what I feel. So today also we have wonderful innovation from our own young ophthalmologists, and I'm very, very happy. And I congratulate all the innovators, and also I have to thank all the panelists and also the TNOA President, Dr. Mohan Rajan, Secretary Madhavan, for the wonderful session. Thank you, Dr. Mohan Rajan.
Thank you, Dr. R.K. sir, for, as usual, a very inspiring talk. And we go on to Dr. Madhavan, our dynamic secretary of TNOA, to say a few words.
Thank you. Dear President, Dr. Mohan Rajan, our President-elect, Dr. Ramakrishnan sir, and our Vice President, Dr. Nirmal Frederick, the star-studded and renowned panelists, and young and innovative speakers, and the TNOA members who are viewing it through YouTube and Facebook. Good evening to you all. We have with us our innovative president, who has led us throughout this year with innovative webinars, PG Catalyst program, TNOA Connect series, Walk the Talk with Luminaries, the National Quiz, the Ophthalmic Video League, to name a few. In fact, one of our innovators, Dr. Prasanna Venkatesh, was the winner of the first Ophthalmic Video League last week. And our young innovators are creatively thinking up new things and doing and implementing them innovatively. So, for some information to our members, the AOS ARC LDP nomination has been called for, and I request our TNI members respond to the leadership program by 31st of January 2022. And in these COVID times, the precautionary booster dose for us all healthcare workers is a must. Do take the booster dose as early as possible. Be healthy and be safe. And our sincere thanks to Allergan and Numerotech for this webinar. Looking forward to this unique, very innovators webinar. And indeed, TNOA, as always, is indeed shining. Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, Dr. Madhavan, and request our Vice President, Dr. Nirmal Frederick, the dynamic Vice President, who's been doing a lot of good work in the IMA as well. Nirmal, to say a few words.
Thank you, President Dr. Mohan Rajan, and all the dignitaries. And I request, appreciate our dynamic president for coming out with this wonderful webinar. I look forward to all the to see and hear the innovators talk as well as their work. I see the interesting panelists there, innovators and entrepreneurs in their own right, Dr. Suvan, Dr. Reddy, Dr. Venkatesh, Dr. Sujata, so and all the young speakers, you'll see in their work before, and I really look forward to hearing them again. So thank you so much for this opportunity. All the best for the program.
Thank you, Nirmal, for this nice words. And we go on without much ado. We'll go on to the introduction of the panelists. These panelists are all top guys, and they don't require any introduction. To start with, I would introduce Suvan Bhattacharjee. Suvan, as you all know, has done wonderful work, probably a path-breaking trendsetter as far as the BX ring is concerned. And he's a guy who is known for his innovation, lateral thinking, got a very busy practice in Calcutta. In fact, I would say he's more powerful than the Didi of Bengal, West Bengal, I would say. So he's very popular and very and BX ring is probably one of the greatest inventions or innovations in the recent times. Again, Dr. Kumar Doctor. Kumar Doctor is not only a good clinician, good surgeon. His videos are really outstanding and a great friend of all of us. And he never fails to come for all our conferences. And his talks are really out of the world. And he's also a very great innovator. And he's known for his new concepts and lateral thinking as well. Dr. J.K. Reddy, everybody knows, the son of our soil. And J.K. Reddy is from Coimbatore, Shankara Eye Hospital. And he's known for a lot of innovations. Intraocular lenses, the phakic IOLs, and the work in the cornea, and so many other innovations. J.K. Reddy, very humble guy. I would say, I would call him the unsung hero, but he is really so competent in whatever he is doing. And we are very happy and proud to have Dr. J.K. Reddy in the panel as well. Of course, Dr. Venkatesh there. Dr. Venkatesh, who's spearheading the innovation in the Aravind Eye Care system. Guy who's known for his wonderful clinical work and also the wonderful innovations. Year after year, he wins the ASCRS prize, video prize, and for innovations. And hats off to you, Venkatesh, for giving this new inputs every time I meet you and every time you come for a conference. It is all your new insights in whatever is happening in ophthalmology today. And of course, Sujata is not joining here because she's not well. And we go on to the speakers. Now, I would like to introduce Dr. John Davis Akara, John Davis Akara, and Prasanna Venkatesh. These are the guys who are actually spearheading the entire innovation as far as Tamil Nadu is concerned, as far as this country is concerned, I would say. And these two guys will be moderating the whole session. Over to John.
So John sir is having some joining issues, sir. Shall I?
Yeah, Prasanna, you carry on. You will introduce the first speaker.
Yes, sir. First, we have Dr. Prabhu Bhaskaran, sir, from Aravind Eye Hospital, Chennai. He's an editorial board member, IJO and TNOA journals. Keen interest on ophthalmic innovations and translational research. He has over 40 indexed publications to his merit, and he's innovator of the novel surgical technique in SFIOL, also known as the XNET or extraocular needle guided haptic insertion technique. And sir has also won the ASCRS 2017 Film Festival Award and the Aravind Inspiring Innovator Award in 2020. Over to Prabhu Bhaskaran, sir.
Prabhu,
thank you.
All yours.
Thank you for the kind intro. Yeah, I would like to thank TNOA for this wonderful opportunity. So let me share my screen.
5 minutes is the presentation.
Yeah. Shall I run my video?
Yes.
Yeah. So S-Fix or suture guided haptic fixation technique is a new technique device that we have developed in collaboration with Aurolab to simplify the haptic fixation step in SFL surgeries So the device goes like this. It has got a cannulated polyimide tube to which we have connected 50 nylon thread, as you can see here, and it is crimped into a 380 degree micron suture needle. So this is an animation video. As you can see, the first step is docking. You dock the aptic into the polyimide tube. Then you push it inside intraocularly. Then you take a suture bite of 2 to 3 mm over the sclera at 50% thickness, as you can see here. So first step is docking, second step is push intraocularly, and third step is the suture bite. So after that, you pull. That's the fourth step. You pull the thread gently. As you can see, you keep pulling the thread gently. The polyimide tube plus the aptic complex follows the track, suture track created by the device, and it gets into it. Then further pull will disengage, and then the aptic is fixed. So repeat the same steps on the other side. So that's how the aptics are fixed in esophageal surgery. This is a new concept we have come up with. It's a surgical video. As you can see, this is the first step, dock the aptic into the polyimide tube. So 4 mm of docking, you dock till you touch the suture filled portion of the device. So after that, you push it inside intraocularly. This is the second step, completely push it inside. You don't have to worry about aptic slip in this. So this is the second step. You do it completely. And then the third step is a suture bite. This is a 380 micron customized spatulated needle that we have designed. So the important thing is you start the suture track from the point of sclerotomy or very close to it, and then go around 2 to 3 mm over the sclera at 50% thickness depth. And then after you exit, pull it. That's a fourth step. You keep pulling it, pull the suture slowly. So as you can see, it's very important that you ensure that the entire polyimide tube is intraocular, because a polyimide tube doesn't, it's not that flexible like a suture thread. So it has to be inside. Then you pull. As you can see, now we are pulling. The polyimide tube with the aptic will follow the suture track that has been created by the device. So it's completely transconjunctival. You don't need any specialized instrument to forceps to fix the aptic. If you feel there is excess chemosis, you can cut open the conjunctiva, but most of the times it's not needed. So as you can see now, if a bit of aptic is seen extraocularly, it's okay, not to worry. You can always push it back using McPherson forceps, and also it gives some scope for you to titrate the IOL centration is taken care. So repeat the steps. As I said, there are 4 steps. First is docking. So it's important that you dock till you touch the suture filled portion of the polyimide tube. The yellow thing is the polyimide tube, as I'm talking. So it has got cannulated portion of 4 mm and suture filled portion 4 mm. So you dock it till you touch the suture filled portion. This is the second step. You push it completely inside, completely intraocular. The aptic will not slip. There is no space inside the eye for it to slip. And third step is a suture track. You start from the point of sclerotomy or very close to it, go around 2 to 3 mm of the sclera, and exit. This is the 380 micron spatulated needle that we have designed. So the fourth step is to pull the thread. So as you pull the thread gently, the polyimide tube and the aptic will follow easily without any resistance. We have designed this in such a way that the entire resistance during this step will be faced by the suture thread and the polyimide tube junction. That's the most crucial junction. That's a bottleneck that we have taken care that it doesn't give way. Whereas the aptic and the polyimide tube junction doesn't face any resistance throughout. So as you can see now, the polyimide tube is going to get disengaged. This disengagement is facilitated by the counter traction given by the intraocular lens per se, from inside. So as you can see, a little bit of aptic is seen. You can always push it inside. On the other side, now the aptics are fixed and the IOL is centered. Thank you.
Yeah, vote. I think we should go to the panelists. Prasanna. Frankly speaking, Prabhu, I couldn't understand.
It's a very simple project. It's very nicely they're done. The fixation part only they are taken care. This is not the entire intraocular lens
Yes, sir.
scleral
Yes, sir.
fixation part. The
Yeah.
fixation of the haptic instead of making a track, it's taking care. It's a nice technique as you. It's addition to the scleral fixation technique, like a glue dye oil we are doing. For that it's a little modification of glue dye oil of haptic fixation.
Mohan, can I ask something?
Yeah, please. Yeah, all the panelists.
See, I really like the technique. It was, I thought, made very simple. Only one question is why are you so confident that the haptic will never slip out of it?
Sir, this concern was there with us right from the beginning. We have been doing this for the past 3 years, and till now I have not come across this situation. And we've done various experiments. We have realized that if you do 4 mm of docking, we recommend 4 mm of docking. As I said, the polyimide tube is 8 mm, 4 mm is cannulated, and 4 mm is suture filled. So if we dock for 8 mm, there is no way that it can slip inside the eye. There is no scope. There is already an IOL and then haptic. There's no, and there is nothing that can pull the haptic. So the force is only outside pulling. So I'm sure, quite confident that this will not slip inside. As I said, the bottleneck is the suture thread and the polyimide junction. That has to be very strong. So that initially we had initial days a few years ago, we had issues in that giving way in wet lab and all that. We realized that we need adequate gluing, 4 mm. So now we recommend 4 mm of gluing. So with this specifications, the safety is quite ensured.
So this is manufactured by whom and what's the commercial?
So this is not at commercial, sir. We are very close to it. We are working with Oro Labs. I'm just done with the trials, and we are very soon we are going to launch this.
Just to add to another answer, Kumar and Mohan Rajan sir. Prabhu, what's the wall thickness of the polyimide tube?
Sir, it's internally it's around.
No, I'm not asking for internal diameter. I'm asking for the thickness of the wall, because it's a snug fit internally, isn't it?
Yes, snug fit internally. Yeah.
Because the wall thickness must be very thin. It must be very thin because polyimide is a very tough material.
Yes, it's not flexible. It's not very. That's why I
yes.
said it has to be intraocular.
So to answer Kumar, actually, if you're using a needle track, a 27 gauge or a 26 gauge needle, the wall thickness of the needle, of the hypodermic needle, is actually a lot more than the polyimide tube over here. Okay, so the polyimide tube is one of the toughest plastics on earth, because I use polyimide for my BX. So I'm familiar with that. So the wall thickness is it's so thin that once you take it out, the tract actually fits quite snugly. The haptic fits quite snugly into the tract. So that is one of the reasons it will stay. Instead, if you use a needle, you're likely to leave a tract which is slightly larger than the diameter of the haptic. Then the slippage chances are higher. Am I right, Prabhu?
True, absolutely. Yeah. I'd like to add one more point. I realized that the haptic is curved and then the polyimide tube is straight. So if you dock the curved thing into a straight thing, the fit is going to be it's going to be snug fit. So we have not really come across such an issue.
And do you recommend a specific IOL with not a modified J or a modified C haptic? Because some of these 3-piece haptics are large because they're modified C design, and some of the 3-piece haptics are modified J design. So the C designs have larger haptic coverage and a larger volume that comes out. So do you recommend in this technique that this is a specific 3-piece design?
Yes, sir. I think C will be better always. Most of the times we use C for SFILs. I think J is not probably preferred.
Nice.
Yeah, Prabhu, because I've been following this technique for quite some time now, I'm able to really perceive how it works.
Venkatesh, can you just explain it to me again?
So you know how Gabor does, right? Yes. After externalizing the haptic, he goes very close to the externalized part, making the Gabor tunnel.
Okay.
And then you internalize the haptic into the sclera. using the special GABAR forceps again, the Shariat forceps.
Yes.
So the externalization and the internalization, the part is very, very close. And that is why Shariat technique did not become very popular. And that is where glued became popular, because you made a flap and you are entering it away from the externalization and you are closing the sclera with the flap.
Yeah.
So now Prabhu is making the Shariat tunnel simple. So the externalized haptic, so you don't have to make a track before and keep it ready for internalizing the haptic inside. And that is the most difficult step. And the other thing is the Shariat forceps is also expensive. Any micro forceps is expensive, and within 10, 12 cases, it also gets damaged.
Yes.
Because I've seen every other day our retina surgeons coming for a new Shariat forceps. That is where it really gets damaged. And then sometimes they don't internalize properly. Sometimes the haptic is exposed. And this is the question which Prabhu kept asking him and several other doctors. And they said they need a simple way to do it. And this is where this haptic insertion into the polyimide tube and then taking the suture bite close to the externalized area is now helping you as a whole. So I think Prabhu will share you the video. Once you see that 2-3 times, I'm sure you will definitely pick up that.
Yeah, now I got the point. Yes.
That small step, incremental step, which he has done to make it simple. Prabhu, one simple thing is, at the end, if you have a long haptic, you can also think of just flanging it.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Or you can also trim it, sir. You can trim it also.
Yeah, you can trim it. You can just flange it and push it. So
you don't have to always push it back.
Yeah, you just need a low cautery.
Just
Yes.
a Yamane technique.
If I can just add, actually, what I think Prabhu, Mohan said, actually what Prabhu's technique is doing is when you bring out the haptic externalized, to again push it through an intrascleral tunnel, you will bend the haptic. So that is the catch. What he's doing is he's giving you a continuous tract and he's allowing the haptic, he's pushing the polyimide tube along with the haptic back into the eye. And then he's getting it back into the tract. So it's moving in a single action, in a single pass. It's going into the tract.
Exactly.
And that's very close to the scleral port where it's coming out. So it's a kind of continuum.
Yes, sir. Sure.
So the haptic stays with the polyimide tube. Am I right?
Not at the end of surgery, it will come out. At the end of
No, polyimide is part of the device that will come out, sir. It will not stay inside.
It's polyimide is only railroading. It's railroading.
It's railroading, and once the haptic goes in, the polyimide is removed.
Yeah, it's just pulled out. It's just pulled out. No, it just stays there. The haptic stays and the polyimide comes out.
Very good. Excellent.
Thank you, sir.
John.
So can we have the next one, sir?
John,
Yes, yes.
John is back. Yeah, John Davis is there.
Yes, sir. Sorry, I missed the initial part. Yes, sir.
This program. John.
Yes, sir. So can we call Mohan Rajan, sir? Can we call the next speaker, sir?
Yes.
Next speaker would be Dr. Nilesh. He's a comprehensive ophthalmic surgeon currently working as a consultant at Ayodhya Eye Hospital. He has innovated the novel smartphone-based gonio imaging device, also known as the DIX Pro, which has won multiple awards at different innovative sessions. He has special interest in academics and research and has authored around 60 published papers and has presented over 40 papers and has been invited speaker also. His current area of research is smartphone imaging and medical retina. Over to you, Dr. Nilesh.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thanks
Thank you so much
for
for this
joining us.
comment. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
I'll just share my screen, sir. So, shall I start, sir? My screen is visible.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, sir. Good evening to everyone. I would like to thank Tnoa for bringing me in on this wonderful session. I'm Dr. Nilesh Kumar, innovator of DIX Pro, and I am here to share my journey till now. These are my disclosures. DIX Pro is one of its kind frugal commercial smartphone-based gonio imaging device in the process of patent application, which is compatible with 2, 3, 4, or 6 mirror gonio lens and smartphones, a single or a multi-camera setup. This is how the device is set up for use. We place the gonio lens in the adapter, which by design aligns centrally with the optics of the smartphone holding segment, where the smartphone, be it an Android or a smart iPhone, is snap fit. Normal camera app or MI RedCam app can be used for clicking the image. The lens with the holder is applied in normal fashion under topical anesthesia, and the patient is asked to look straight. The smartphone segment aligns beautifully with the lens adapter, and you just click using camera flash. As simple as that. These are few sample images using Vogue 4 mirror lens. These are few sample images using Ocular 3 mirror lens. But I am here to share my journey, how this journey has been till now. The two most common questions asked to any innovator are, how did you get the idea? And how did you decide to take it forward? I will try to answer these two questions in today's presentation based on my learnings and my interactions with much better innovators. Everyone has got ideas. When presented with a problem, any logical brain will throw out a solution. So anyone in the audience who wants to innovate, focus on finding a problem. Find a problem that is very personal to you and that you really want to be solved for yourself. And then let the brain do the magic. My problem was convincing the patient that they had closed angles and they required YAG PI. Even after counseling them for 15 to 20 minutes, they rarely agreed for such a simple procedure, all because they couldn't understand why this junior doctor is convincing me so much for this procedure when I just walked in for a routine refraction. The only way to convince them was to show their angles. Did I ever set out to make a device to solve a problem? No, I just wanted some idea to solve the problem. What did my brain throw up? What is gonio mirror? Is it not a mirror? Are you not taking a mirror selfie with your phone? Can't you do the same by going really close to the gonio lens? This idea came to me in a gym. But that is not all. It is not that I just got the idea in the evening and next day Diggs was born. It took me 8 to 10 days just to gather courage to attempt the imaging. So how the journey has been till now. Ikigai is a simple Japanese philosophy meaning reason of being. It asks to answer only 4 questions about anything you want to do. And if you answer those truthfully, you will have the clarity whether to do it or not. The questions are, do you love doing it? Are you good at it? Does the world need it? And most important, will anybody pay you for doing that? So first question first, do you love the idea you have got? If you don't, be ruthless and discard it. Sole reason is that it is going to take up a lot of your time, a lot of your cognition, and a lot of your attention. It took us 12 different type of macro lens setup that we had tried over first 6 months to get from the first image that is on the left side to a clear quality image in the middle. So make sure you love your idea because that is going to become your passion. The next question to be answered is, are you good enough to implement your idea? This decides the route you're going to take to develop your idea. If you can do it, then take the do-it-yourself route. That will give you complete freedom to keep developing the idea. If you think you can do it, but lack direction, then a mentor can help you. I was lucky to get Dr. Ashish Sharma sir even before I started my journey, which has helped me to achieve what I have today so fast. Getting a right mentor will not only help you to do what you need to do, but they will also prevent you from making the mistake they had made. And if you are not at all, you have no idea about how to go ahead and you can't get a mentor, then somebody from the industry can help you. But if you're going to take that route, please make sure that you have some protection of your idea. The third question to be answered is, does the world need your innovation? In simple terms, is your problem also a problem for a significant number of your colleagues? And is there no viable solution available for it? For me, gonioscopy is not performed in majority of the patient walking in, and there are no recent advances in gonio imaging which are frugal and can be utilized for patient education that convinced us to develop our innovation further and propagate it. We published the technique in Journal of Glaucoma, and the quality till then was so good that it made it to the cover art also. The last question that really decides whether your innovation is going to be commercial or not is a very simple question. Will someone pay for it? Once we had published the article in Journal of Glaucoma, we got so many queries. Is that a device? How can we buy it? That answered the question for us, but it is a very complicated process. Commercialization is also very costly. Developing even a simple attachment may cost you 5 to 6 lakh, and thus economics needs to be understood before proceeding. In my opinion, your research and your innovation should be self-sustainable, that it should pay for itself. But have we done all we could have done with the device now that it is commercial, has won multiple innovation awards and is present internationally? Not at all. The beauty of innovation is that it keeps evolving. The next frontier to be achieved is the reflection-free image. We are experimenting with various polarized lights, filters, and external flashes to provide a reflection-free 360-degree image of the angle. And hopefully we will be achieving that soon. This all is possible because I answered the first question very, very truthfully. I love my idea. I absolutely love my idea. Keep loving your idea, keep innovating, keep translating, keep digging. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Wonderful, wonderful, Nilesh.
Thank you so much, sir.
Beautiful, beautiful. What is the cost, you said?
So 25,000 right now is the selling price, sir.
25,000.
Yes, sir.
It's available commercially?
Yes, sir. It is available with Dr. Ashish Sharma's MI Camp company.
Oh, okay. Fine.
Yes, sir.
Same company. Okay.
Yes, sir. Same company, sir.
Okay, over to the panel. Suvan, Kumar?
Yeah, I am full of appreciation for this, and to get an early break in 2 ways. As I mean, of course, he's been persistent. I've been following Nilesh for a very long time. He's done fantastic work, and actually, you have to have those good breaks also, like getting on the Journal of Glaucoma cover. It gives you a huge coverage, and like you said, joining Ashish Sharma, and Ashish Sharma actually taking him under his wings is kind of shortens that journey. It makes that painful journey. The journey will be painful. Rest assured, but it's going to be shorter, and it's going to be more pleasurable. And when you meet with failures, you have somebody to guide you and hold your hand and take you through those failures, and kind of keep pepping you up. That a mentor does very well, and you're very fortunate. And I think it's very nice of Ashish to take you under his wings.
Sure, sir. Yeah.
Kumar.
Very nice. I really like the idea. I think it's brilliant. I have only one question. The last photograph of the Astro is taken by whom?
So that is Windows wallpaper, sir. That is Windows wallpaper.
Okay, it's a Windows wallpaper. I thought somebody took that image of yours. That was a brilliant image anyway. But I love your idea. It's excellent, I think.
Thank you, sir.
Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
Excellent, Nilesh. Just to say, see, innovators are not many. Maybe 2% of any ophthalmologist or even the doctors around. But I think the early adapters are very important. That's what Suvan also keeps telling. So you'll have to really look for early adapters of this technology. Even though it is simple, sometimes it's that early adapters will make a big difference. Once they start using it, they start talking about it, then it is into 10 times the Journal of Glaucoma, and the reach is more. Because as you said, it's very important to convince some patients. Even now you can take brilliant anterior segment, fundus image, show them diabetic retinopathy, glaucoma. Definitely you can add some educational value, but showing a narrow angle is also equally important. Making them understand between an open and a narrow angle, and how iridotomy would definitely save from having an angle closure disease. So in that context, I really agree with you. You know that there is a problem and you really wanted to solve it from the patient side. None of the doctors were bothering about this because we are seeing the angle. But you are thinking, how can a patient see the angle? So that is where, when you start looking with the patient shoes on, I'm sure there'll be a lot of innovations coming in patient care. Good job. Keep innovating. Yeah. Even in your private practice or wherever you are now, I think you should find that time to keep thinking like that.
Thank you, sir.
One word, Nilesh, we are blessed in India. The key opinion leaders are very accessible. So I would strongly recommend you get in touch with the key opinion leaders in the field of glaucoma, in the general ophthalmology field. They are very supportive, and trust me, overseas it costs a bomb to get KOLs on board. In India, it just it's their blessings.
Yes.
So it comes without any strings, and I was very fortunate. I must tell you, and my colleagues have been very kind to me, seniors, colleagues, all of them. So you latch on to some KOLs, and once the KOLs start endorsing your device, it makes your journey a little easier, because after all, the common surgeon, the average surgeon does look up to KOLs for the opinion. So key opinion leaders make a difference. So get in touch with the people in the field.
Yes, sir. It is really unfortunate for me, sir, because when I started commercializing the device, lockdown happened. The entire journey has been in the lockdown. So I'm just waiting for a physical conference to happen so that I can show the device to all the senior people. So then, because it is very hard to believe for somebody that without a slit lamp you are going to take an image, and that too with such a high intensity flash. and still you are going to not really distort the angle. So I just want everybody to have a hands-on, and then they can also, that is also very important for me to get the feedback, sir, so that I can further improve the device.
You should make a book, okay, like
Yes.
a atlas, a picture atlas
Yes,
on imaging through your device.
sure,
And
sir.
that itself will
would-
help you do the rest of it.
Thank you, sir. Yes, sir. I'll definitely start collecting the photographs for that,
I
sir.
think your
Thank you, sir.
photograph quality is really fantastic. That what you showed is really
Yes.
very, very, very nice. And I agree with Suvan that KOLs are very, very important for all innovations, because these guys can actually be the what do you call the
Ambassadors.
game changers for you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yes,
in
sir.
my opinion. And JK, you're keeping quiet.
No, it's very interesting. Each presentation I saw before, most of them, they're so nice. These young people. It's very interesting. Initial days, my days, as Suvin said, everybody look at me like animal, but now look.
Absolutely. Bang on.
Who is this guy? He came from somewhere and is talking nonsense and wasting everybody time. They used to think when I say something. Now I am enjoying. Each one is a beautiful, wonderful. One day I hope I will see in world platform Indian ophthalmologists before I retire.
And already, I think Indian ophthalmology is shining in this area, because a lot of innovators, a lot of opportunities for these guys, and technology. They are combining the technology and they're making use of the technology. And RK sir, you would like to say something, sir?
It's a wonderful innovation, Dr. Nilesh. Congratulations. One question, especially in case of congenital glaucoma, where you do EUA examination and anesthesia, can be used in a lying position to take the angle photos?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. This device can be used both in sitting and lying down positions.
Okay, wonderful. Then it's a wonderful device. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you,
Yes,
sir.
most of the time we are not able to document the congenital glaucoma, the angle. We see, but we're not able to take a proper picture or something like that. No?
Yes, sir.
That's great. Good. Thank you.
Ramesh, you send the details where it is available.
Yes, sir.
We put it in the group so that we can buy it from there. Okay?
Sure, sir. Sure, sir. Sure.
Ajana is 10 minutes.
Yes, sir. Over to next one, John.
Sure, sir. Next, I will introduce Dr. Prithvi Chandrakant. So, Dr. Prithvi Chandrakant is currently a retina fellow at Arvind Eye Hospital, Coimbatore, and also director of Dr. Chandrakant Malabar Nethralaya Kozhikode. He has presented several papers, posters, videos in state, national, and international conferences. He has 4 publications on innovations in ophthalmology in the Indian Journal of Ophthalmology. And one fun fact, it is because of Prithvi's article that the IJO started the section on innovation. They actually started it because of Prithvi. And he has won awards for the best publication in IJO AOS 2019, in KSOS 2019, IIRSI 2020, WWCRS 2021, and of course the Think Under the Apple Tree Innovation Competition of AIOC 2021 and IIRSI 2021 and AIO's Innovators Forum TNOA 2021 and also the Cahotech 2021 industry program. So over to you, Dr. Prithvi.
Thank you, John, sir, for the introduction.
Thanks, Prithvi. Yeah.
Thank you, TNOA, for giving me this opportunity. I'll be playing my video. I hope it's visible.
Yes, yes.
Photography has always been my passion, and I was that inquisitive kid who would like to make new things with the waste materials lying around. I like to make new things and show to my friends when I was in school back then. That is when I met my mentor, my friend John sir, during my post-graduation period, who saw that I was concentrating more on my career and not on things which I was really passionate about. He suggested me to use my photography skills in ophthalmology and create something which would help me enjoy my work a little more. That takes me to the topic I'm going to talk about, that is frugal ophthalmic imaging. What does frugal actually mean? It means using only as much money as necessary or making something small, simple, and cost effective. Imaging is very important in ophthalmology. During residency, it is imperative to see photos and learn from it. Images can also be used to counsel patients, to teach. Also in hospitals, beware of imaging tools and for documentation. That's what led me to my three innovations, which were all on ophthalmic imaging. Those were the with the trochlear lens and IOL scope. All these instruments were then published in the Indian Journal of Ophthalmology in the section of innovation, which would help others make it and use it for ophthalmic imaging. First innovation was brass to pressure 20 centimeter sanitizer bottle was cut in the bottom to fit the 20D lens and the smartphone attached to the mouth of the bottle. And you could take these photos once you turn on the flash. We used the brass to see if it was efficient enough to see for diabetic retinopathy screening. The upper half was from a tabletop fundus camera, and the lower half was from the brass to treasure it. Comparable. The second innovation was anti-segment photography with trochlear lens. Here we take the chart paper, we cut it into 10 centimeter to 1.5 centimeter length, make a fold in the center, double-sided tape at one end of the folded paper. Once that is done, we use a puncher to make a hole at one end of the paper. Once the hole is done, we remove the double-ended trochlear lens of the desired power is then stuck to the double-sided tape. The chart paper is folded back to sandwich it in between. Your ASPE is ready. The ASPE is then taken and aligned in front of the smartphone camera. This helps the camera of the phone be used as a macro lens. On it on video mode, flashlight is on, take photos. And here are a few photos taken from the ASPE. The outreach program called the AROMA, Arvind Rural Outreach Using Mobile Application, was initiated during the COVID pandemic, which used macro lens attached to smartphone for ophthalmic screening via local volunteers who would then share the images to the clinicians at the main center. ASPE, in collaboration with Johns Hopkins University, developed a concise smartphone device which is now being used in the AROMA project for telescreen. My third innovation on ophthalmic imaging was the IOL scope. It is very similar to ASPE, but here, instead of one intraocular lens, we use 4 intraocular lenses of 30 diopter power. As you see, we need to glue all the 4 intraocular lens haptics using Fevicol liquid adhesive. Once that is done, the IOL scope is ready to be aligned on the phone. Keeping the slide on the torch, you can take photos of any microorganism. Here are a few photos of fungus taken from the IOL scope. We went on to use it during a live surgery. This is a video showing FES being conducted on a patient suspected of mucormycosis, and we diagnosed it intraoperatively right at the operating room. This comes to the next innovation, that is SLIM, slit lamp based intraocular lens microscope. It is a very simple attachment of IOL scope to the slit lamp. As you can see, the mobile adapter is fixed to the slit lamp. Once the adapter is fixed to the slit lamp, we use the IOL scope to take photos and videos of microorganisms at the OPD. Simple innovations are those which gives you the best results. And that is what is a great innovation. If it is a really good idea, you should patent it. Or if it's not patentable, it should at least be published in a reputed journal. I would like to conclude by saying that innovations are the brick laid by each one of us to lay a foundation that will turn into a beautiful monument in the future. Thank you.
Brilliant. Brilliant, Prithvi.
Thank you.
Fantastic.
சார் அவரு லென்ஸ் வந்து இப்ப நீங்க கீழே விழுந்துருச்சுன்னா விட மாட்டாரு. முதல்ல எடுத்துப்பாரு அதை தேடி எடுத்து then he thinks how those lenses can be used now. The IOL scope, no, it's a brilliant idea.
Brilliant.
430 diopter lenses, so it is 120 diopters.
Yes.
And then you can use it to make it into a lab microscope. So even now some of our secondary centers which are connected with Coimbatore are doing KOH mount right in their secondary centers, or even vision centers can do that. They don't have to send for KOH to some microbiology lab or anywhere. So that's the kind of impact some of his simple ideas have. Not really thinking out of the box.
Amazing. Amazing, Prithvi. Over to the panelists. Kumar.
John has to. John has to add. He's.
Yeah. John.
Yes, sir. So it is very important to look for a passion that you love and integrate that and innovate according to that. So that is what Prithvi has done. That is what Nilesh has done. That is what everybody has done. So if you find something interesting and then you find the energy to go after it, as Dr. Suben sir said, it is a very painful journey, but if you really love it, you would love to go the entire journey. And so these are all frugal innovations. He has made it all open source and easily replicatable, so not really commercialized. And it is going to be very useful as a low-cost innovation in for all the ophthalmologists around the world. There is no excuse that there is no money available. This all can be done very, very easily.
I have a small suggestion for Prithvi, and I think I end up giving him this all the time. This DIY looks very good on these presentations. Okay, so but trust me, not many ophthalmologists are really interested in doing it themselves. The IT is not there. Okay, so DIY looks good. So you have to give them a finish. You get the same 30 diopter lenses, 4 of them, pack it into a single kind of holder or something. It's not very difficult. Orolab is there with you. You can get that, and you give. I mean, you don't have to make money out of it. But let's say, like Venkatesh said, it's being used in the peripheral center. If you ask somebody to make that, it's still a tall order for them sometimes, and you might not get the results as you want. So you put those 30 diopter lenses, put it whatever it costs, even if you sell it at cost price. I'm not asking you to make money out of it, but make it easier for the end user. It's often your product or your innovation takes off much faster.
Exactly. We have been doing two of my products into actually commercializing type. One is the ASPI. ASPI actually has been taken up now by John Hopkins and Arvind, and we are making it to a patent. It's a patent pending product, so which we are using now in outreach programs. And the IOL scope, like you said, Orolab has taken it up, and they have taken it into one single lens of 150 diopter, and they're manufacturing it right now, making a new design, refining it, and yeah, soon it will be out. Yeah.
And then you're already halfway there.
Yes, sir.
Can you do macro photography with this?
Yes, sir. Surely.
Yes, sir. Actually, this is essentially a macro lens.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Very nice.
Kumar is another guy who's interested in photography. A lot of photography guys.
The Aroma project which we are doing, actually Venkatesh sir can give a better insight of it.
Aroma project, I think there was a presentation by one of the
in one of the presentations. Dayakar had presented.
Yes.
So basically, we are training the village volunteers to take images and then screen those images instead of doing mega camps into just collect smaller camps for patients. So that's when we were trying to do with macro lens and other things. They were finding it very difficult. And that's when we came across this idea of ASPI. And then we said, let's take it to the next level. And now we have tried different lenses, 8 diopters, 10 diopter, 12 diopter, 14 diopter, 16 diopter, and a freestone 12 diopter lens. which brilliantly takes some of the images like what Prithvi was saying, and without much efforts from the volunteer. They just have to keep the mobile with a cushion on top of it, and then you get a brilliant anterior segment image. So for screening ulcers, foreign body, all these lid lesions and all that, it really works very well.
Prithvi, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Is it compatible with all type of phones?
Yes, sir. We have
the phones come with multiple cameras. How do you go about?
Actually, in phones with multiple cameras, we have to search for the primary camera, and that primary camera will act as the adjoint.
Okay.
We have tried with all the phones which have the side camera and the central camera. It works good with every phone.
Fantastic. Congrats.
Only with the iPhone it works, is it?
No, sir, with every phone, with all kind of phones, with the center camera, with the side camera, everything, it works well.
It works.
Okay.
Brilliant.
Okay. Kumar is, I don't know what happened. Something wrong with the Kumar? With the connection?
No, I can hear you.
Yeah. No comments from you?
No, I said it. Very nice. I actually asked him about macro photograph.
Okay. Fantastic. Very nice, Prithvi. All the best.
Thank you.
Go on to the next one.
Next, we have Dr. John Sir himself, who's currently faculty in the Department of Ophthalmology of Sri Ramachandra Medical College, Chennai. He's a formerly glaucoma consultant at Little Flower Hospital, Angamali, and West End Eye Hospital, Cochin. He has presented in various state, national, and international conferences and has won awards for smartphone-based virtual reality perimetry, smartphone ophthalmic photography, and virtual reality in ophthalmology. He has published on innovations in ophthalmology, AI, 3D printing, smartphone, slit lamp photography, and so on. And he's currently into technology and gadgets and does programming too. Over to you, John, sir.
Thank you, Prasanna.
Thank you, John, for
Thank you, sir.
formulating this entire program. Thank you.
Special thanks to Tnoa and Mohan Rajan, sir, for this session. It's really inspiring to many innovators that such a program is available and they can see the journey of all these innovations. I'll share a video about my latest innovation.
From the mind to the eye, designing and 3D printing novel glaucoma drainage devices, Dr. John Davis Akkara, Dr. Narayan Balakrishnan, and Dr. Anju Kuriakul.
The authors have no financial interest in this presentation.
My colleague, Dr. John Davis, and I are practicing glaucoma consultants, and in this video, we have attempted to make an innovative glaucoma drainage device which can help young ophthalmologists to practice implantation of this device and help in future implantation of glaucoma drainage devices in everyday practice. The implantation of these devices are also very expensive, and hence it deters young ophthalmologists from buying them, practicing them, and then using it in human eyes. So through this innovation, we have attempted to make an interesting glaucoma drainage device which has been 3D printed and hence has been used in animal eyes.
Hi, I am Dr. John Davis Akkara, glaucoma consultant at Sri Ramachandra Institute of Higher Education and Research. I used 3D computer-aided design and 3D printing to design and print the glaucoma valves that we are talking about. So I used a free software called FreeCAD and drew the design of the valve which I had in mind. That was the foot plate. And once I had drawn the design and finalized it, I took it to our 3D printing lab in campus and used the resin 3D printer to print the model. There are two types of easily available 3D printers. One is the resin 3D printer and the other is the plastic 3D printer, which uses spools of plastic. Once the 3D printed footplate was printed, I removed it from the mold, cleaned it with isopropyl alcohol, and then kept it under UV light. And once that was done, the footplate was ready to use. I used the tube from a Venflon to make the tube of the valve. Once the tube was cut, it was inserted into the hole of the footplate, And so this is the foot plate and the valve mechanism, and that is the tube. If you look at the other side of the valve, there are 6 canals opening in 3 in each side. These allow the liquid to flow in from the tube. We then fixed a bow tie in a plastic container and did a conjunctival peritomy to insert the valve. The foot plate of the valve is carefully inserted under the conjunctiva. Make sure that the conjunctival opening is big enough to accommodate the foot plate. The foot plate is then anchored to the sclera by suturing through the 4 holes using vicryl sutures. The tube is then measured and trimmed with the scissors. Once this is done, the next step would be to implant the tube into the anterior chamber. We have to make a track using a needle, partial thickness through the sclera into the anterior chamber in case of a phakic eye, and into pars plana in case of a pseudophakic or aphakic eye. Next step is to insert the tube into the tunnel so that it reaches the anterior chamber. Once the tube is inside, we have to make sure that it does not touch the endothelium. These are some of the other valves that we 3D printed compared to the first valve, which was actually quite big. The biggest one is the first GDD that we implanted in the surgical video. There is the small one with the tube, which is the latest design as of now, and there is also a medium sized one. This is a top and bottom view of the first valve that we designed. We can see the flow of fluorescein dye through all the 6 channels in the valve conduit. This is a medium sized valve, top and bottom view. This is a design for the smallest and newest model that we had designed. This has a raised area on the top through which the tube is inserted, and it has multiple channels which channel the liquid into the bottom. The plate itself has multiple holes to allow fluid pass through into the subconjunctival space. The fluid flow is as seen in this video. Hope this innovation with 3D printing inspires young surgeons to start doing glaucoma valve surgeries and also to design newer models of glaucoma drainage devices. Thank you.
No, the foot plate looks a little big, no? What it showed.
Yes, the first foot plate was slightly on the bigger side, but the other foot plates are the same size as the Ahmed glaucoma valve.
Okay.
So this is basically using the technology of resin-based SLA 3D printing to prototype various designs for valve. So when we look at 3D printing, the usual thing that we think about is the filament-based large size 3D printing. And that is what we have at Arvind Pondicherry. And that was where I was started on 3D printing. And now that resin 3D printing is quite cheap. The printer is 30,000 rupees. The resin you get in a bottle of 1 liter. I wanted to see what we could do with that. So this is one of the uses of resin-based 3D printing.
Fantastic.
Dr. John, this is basically, we cannot call them valved implants. There is no valve here. This is a glaucoma drainage device. That's all. There's
Yes,
non-valved valve. This is a non-valve devices for practice.
Yes, sir. I tried to make a valve mechanism, but it didn't work.
Yeah, the valve mechanism is completely different. We have membrane valves, ball valves, micro valve valves. So the problem with the valves is sometimes the valve stops working. They don't open up at the desired pressure. Always open is better than always closed. This is a bit complicated, venturi valves and all. This is so that's what when you are presenting next time you have to remove that
valve.
This is a open devices, non-valve devices.
Yes, sir.
John, last week I saw a young girl with this resin 3D printer at her home. Okay? She was making her own comb,
jewelry,
toys, jewelry, the comb, and now I think it's become like a play kit. No, I asked her, how did you get? She said it was a gift from her uncle. That 30,000 rupees, whatever gift. And now she makes her own jewelry for the Barbie toys and the small combs and things like that. And it's good that we can use this innovatively for the wet lab practice. But as J.K. Reddy said, no, you can't call it as a valve. Somewhere you should have been using the word GDD or whatever for
Yes,
wet lab practice. But definitely it can be a trial. But one thing is, nobody was able to challenge Ahmed for almost 30 years now, right? Not even a single valve other than Ahmed glaucoma valve. All have been tubes.
I tried making a valve mechanism. I actually designed a valve mechanism in it, but it is not moving. It just gets stuck.
It's not easy, I'm saying.
Yes, sir.
You need a genius like Ahmed. No genius have come after that. And I'm sure John can be a genius like him, but still, valve is not that easy to be done inside, to the eye to work in that unidirectionally. But anyway, this resin
Venkatesh, actually, that is a membrane valve, which Ahmed uses, membrane valve. There will be two slits like this. When the pressure increases, they separate and leak it. The problem is after some time, they don't open up. When the material becomes stiff, the silicon membrane, it becomes stiff, it doesn't open. That's the biggest challenge.
Yeah,
that's why
people have seen even in unused ones after several years, they have seen that what you're saying, it has been observed.
Have you tried creating artificial cornea?
I tried it, but it doesn't give a transparent this thing. It is very translucent. Even though it says transparent resin, I use a transparent resin. It gives a very translucent output. So I actually printed one for that also.
Venkatesh, the toys of the days are changing. We played with dough and plasticine. And these kids are playing. The days have changed. We used to play with dough and plasticine, you see. And sometimes not even that, just plain earth.
All the schools nowadays, they have an innovation lab, sir. They have these innovation labs.
Yes.
They have 3D printers. And I want to go back to school now.
No, Suvan, she was asking me, Uncle, what do you like? I said, why are you asking? You said, if you tell me what you like, I'll make and give you. I was like, what is this?
In fact, I have told
they are spoiled for choices.
My God.
Really magical, huh? Yeah.
Absolutely.
In fact, two of my MBBS students here, they got inspired when I told them about 3D printing, and they have designed another device. They have made a lacrimal punctal plug. And in fact, I encourage them to put it on Thingiverse, that is open source website where you can download things. So that is uploaded yesterday. In fact, you search for lacrimal punctal plug, you will find the one which my MBBS students have designed on an iPad. So I told them we can use laptop and mouse and draw it on the software, CAD software. They said it's there on iPad, and they just downloaded this software and drew it on the iPad with the stylus. So it's quite simple. And
this is on FreeCAD? On FreeCAD?
No, sir. There is some other free software on the iPad which is easier to use than FreeCAD.
Okay.
Many softwares are there. Fantastic. I would suggest tinkercad.com if you just want to get started.
I've done that. I've been on Tinkercad, yeah. You know what? Actually, after a certain age, we become a little plastic. So it's a little difficult for us to restart with certain things like 3D modeling and things like that. But yes, I would love to. But it's a little uphill task.
RK, sir?
Yeah, it's a good, John, it's a nice innovation. And one question, what material, John, this plate?
So this material is a UV fixated resin. And it is not biocompatible. So right now what I'm doing is only prototypes. So in fact, I have this here. And they are not fit for human use. They're not fit for biological use, but you can use it as prototypes.
Okay. But still in the experimental stage, you have not implanted anything.
I have implanted only in cadaver eyes, sir.
Okay. Why 4 holes? You can have only 2 holes. 4 holes. It's very difficult to fix, posteriorly.
I just tried making different designs, sir. So I just made one.
That's fine, but 2 is more than enough. Because if you circle the plate with the 2 holes anteriorly, it won't go. So 4 means it's very difficult to posteriorly to fix it. Yes, that's what I feel, yeah.
Yes, sir. Right now, the use of this one would be to practice in the wet lab. before
yeah.
actually doing surgeries.
That's correct, yeah.
But you can
And,
also try out different designs.
And also, as pointed by Reddy and Venkatesh, no, this is not valve. So
Not a
you have
valve,
to do a occlusion suture. You have to during at least
The tube,
when you
yes,
do
sir.
a patient, no, you have to occlude the suture with white clamp. Yeah.
So this 4 holes means there's a 4-point fixation, is it?
I have made multiple holes on
four
the
holes,
valves
yeah.
for the different valves have different designs. So I was just trying out which one works better. In fact, I just wanted to test out the 3D printer. So I made a bunch of this box is full of of DDDs. Box is full of DDDs.
Fantastic.
Good.
Well
Good
done,
work.
John.
Thank you, sir.
As usual. Yeah, fantastic.
Thank you.
Go on to the next one. Prasanna, I think. Who is the next one?
Prasanna, sir. I'll just share my screen. So next we have Dr. Prasanna Venkatesh Ramesh. He is a glaucoma and medical research officer at Mahatma Eye Hospital, Trichy. He has published 67 articles in peer-reviewed and PubMed index journals, including 36 in our very own Indian Journal of Ophthalmology. He is also the glaucoma section editor of the Tnoa Journal of Ophthalmic Sciences and Research. He is the chief instructor at various conferences, including the ASCRS 2022, GSI 2021, AOS 2021, AS 2020, and TNOA 2019. And he is a recipient of various awards in World Glaucoma Congress, IIRSI, AIOS, GSI, TNOA, and DOS. Over to you, Dr. Prasanna. He is another serial innovator.
I call him the new sensation, Prasanna. Really fantastic.
So thank you, Mohan Rajan sir and team Tnoa for giving me this opportunity. Am I audible, sir?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So the augmented and extended reality 3D ophthalmic metaverse is what I'm going to be talking about for the next few minutes. So welcome to the world of 3D ophthalmic metaverse. So initially during the starting days, it was all about filmmaking and animation for me, the innovation one. Being a glaucoma person, I used to make some animations on common encountered practical difficulties like the iris process and peripheral anterior synechiae, and then match these animations in real-time clinical scenarios during my fellowship days. As you can see, the iris processes and the peripheral anterior synechiae. This is how I developed my metaphorical concept learning. The more I went into animations, the more I realized the creation of unanimated models, because we want to have a real model as much as possible so that we can teach well and we can also have a good patient counseling system also established better. So we started using real wide field 110-degree true color confocal fundus images of the own patients themselves, of their color, autofluorescence, and infrared to make the posterior segment models. And we used real-time slit lamp and gonioscopic images to make the anterior segment models. By doing this, we developed our first own app, IMG3D, which is a 3-dimensional app, and we give the choice to the user. We place 12 cameras inside this app, and you can click the button. If you click the anatomy button, it goes into the 3D model. You can choose your anterior segment, and then you can click the angle or the ciliary body. If you click the angle, you get the gonioscopic view as and when that is seen by a gonioscopy when you perform. And then we also added the trabecular meshwork. These are all the add-on buttons for electron microscopic view. So these are all the 3D models that we created with inspiration from our real-time patients' data. And the posterior segment, you can see the real true color confocal unanimated images. And we gave the choice to the user to remove the vitreous on, off, or the siliconal on, off, and the fovea, which can also be visualized. And by giving the buttons, the user can actually be, it's very user-friendly. A 3D interface is what was actually established. So this was the second innovation that we did. And we didn't stop only with that. We also added the autofluorescence and the infrared and various other models, flecked retina. All these are our own patients' data, which are now unanimated into the app. Neovascularization elsewhere with fibrovascular band, retinitis pigmentosa, all that is in multimodal. Retinal nerve fiber layer defect, as you can see here, and myelinated nerve fibers, splinter hemorrhages. So all these models are provided in this app, and this is free of cost, and it is being provided for Android users. That led us to the third innovation. Why not we go into the creation of augmented reality 3D models, which is one field that was not really explored for anatomical creations. So we went ahead and we incorporated our 3D models into a simple smartphone, And we also gave this app free of cost for the love for teaching. So you can see on the left-hand side video, the pedagogue is demonstrating the augmented reality with this phone. And the right-hand side part of the video is the display that you will actually see in your smartphone. So you can rotate your phone accordingly to access different views of the 3D model. You just need to go back, and then you can come down and see the angles. You can see the anterior segment, and now you can see the pedagogue here diving into the video, and then you'll see the and this is again another view of the phone or the camera where we have just recorded it. So the cavernous sinus models, and even as I was talking about the angles, here you can see that going in and visualizing the angle as real time as how it looks. For example, for a surgical angle surgery. So all those models have been done with real time tissues or mimicking them. So, and also with that, we also added the multiple filters that we were talking, the red free filter, along with the color funders, the splinter embrace that is seen here. You can see that you can choose the button and have your color free, red free filter as also additives. So different pathologies, atlases were created in the app, the third innovation, IMG AR. It is also available free of cost in the Google platform. That led us to, why not we go into reality? Okay, reality is reality, right? So that was the fourth innovation about the 3D anatomical puzzles. So we thought kindling the kid inside us will actually help us in working better. And in my hand, you can see the 3D model that we actually printed. This is a 3D circle of Willis that is recently done by us. It's more like assembling and disassembling the parts of a bike, like an automobile engineer. This is a cavernous sinus that is being shown in my hand here. So it gives you the cognitive learning to understand and evolve the concepts better. This will work much better for undergraduates or for residents is what I would feel. And we have also printed the 3D eyeball models with real-time confocal fundus images. And also the trabecular meshwork. So initially in the starting phases, these are some models which will help the neophytes to really get a grasp of the basic sciences. And finally comes one of the recent innovations done last week, the creation of the 3D holograms. So we talked about augmented reality and reality, animations, unanimations. Why not we have an holograms that we see in the movies, especially the Marvel movies? That's where I got the word the metaverse. So this is the augmented reality 3D model museum that we have recently created with all our 3D models with the Microsoft HoloLens 2. You can see on the right-hand side of the video, the user is walking through as if the room is empty. But actually the room is filled up with all our eye models and the neuroanatomy models. Even the neuroanatomy model, so you can see him moving around and he's visualizing all the models in his HoloLens. The cranial nerve anatomy, the optic radiation, the nucleus and the extraocular muscles, all these are being provided in fine detail. So as he goes through, he can see the fundus images, the autofluorescence mode, the infrared mode, you name it. The future, we can even develop a 3D case sheet for the patient. And this is another video where we match reality with extended reality. So here you can see that the 3D printed model of the cavernous sinus or the circle of Willis, which we did, we also put it into the holograms. And now demonstrating wise, you have the hand tracking system where the user can use it, he can turn it, he can touch it. Maybe he'll not be able to feel it, but he can rotate it and he can magnify it. And all those things that is not possible in 2D textbook reading can actually be done with this holograms, which is a visual aura as well as a hand touch tracking system is also there. I'm just fast forwarding the video for want of time. And you can see the circle of Willis here. He's taking the circle of Willis hologram and he can side by side take the 3D printed circle of Willis model that is done. And in this video, you can see he's comparing, the user can compare the 3D model in reality mode as well as in the virtual extended reality mode. And the match can be done. And the learning can actually be playful, gamification, especially the 3D models that we are facing, be it the trabecular meshwork, circle of Willis, the cavernous sinuses, and being a 3D structures, and he's matching the extended reality model and the holograms together. So 3D learning can be fun, and not only it is only for learning, these also can be used for counseling, and the patients can also be given a 3D case sheets in the future. Maybe we may not be far from that where you can see the images that we have used are all real-time, true color, high resolution confocal images. They're not animations, they're real-time images. That's how the particle works. We felt confocal images will be the way forward, and incorporating them in every possible modality, being in augmented reality or extended reality, or even for 3D printing as such. So This is again one of the same models where we are just demonstrating the angles. So the gamification or the cognitive learning can all be enhanced by this, and not only with anatomy, we are now slowly moving towards simple procedures like removing a foreign body from the cornea, how we can train them in extended reality so that they'll have a simulation so that when they go to the patient, they'll be prepared. And then from there onwards, we can go into complex surgeries and so on. Even for the gonioscopic structures are also being provided as holograms so that even gonioscopic assisted angle surgeries can also be done. So this is what we have innovated. The models that we have created, we have put it into the holograms, the HoloLens 2, which is provided by Microsoft. And all the models is what we have created and we have put into the holograms for a cognitive gameful learning. And last but not least, even for iPhone users, the eye touch is one of the recent innovations which is in the pipeline, which is not yet launched yet, with just fingers. So what about, we just wanted to cover as much audiences as possible so that it'll be, some people may feel 3D printing is good for them. Some will feel extended reality is good or augmented reality is good. Some will tell me, I just want to lie down on my bed. I'll have my phone, just with the 2 fingers, I would want to open the eyeball model, rotate it. For them, just with 2 fingers, you can access different views. So you can remove the skin, then you will have the skull. Then you can choose the brain transparency, you can reduce it, you can turn it. Then if you want to remove the cerebrum, you can do it. Cerebellum, all have been done by means of buttons below. So we are giving the user-friendly interfaces and they can do the learning according to their wish. So these are the 6 innovations that have come under the Department Mahatma Center of Moving Images. We have tried to provide as much as possible. Everything is free of cost. The animations are on YouTube's. The unanimations, this is the QR code, and the augmented reality, this is the app, this is the QR code for it. But these 2 works only on Android. That's why we developed the IMG Max, which is for the iPhone users. And we have the tactile 3D puzzle assembly, which is a 3D printed one. And then the IMG Holo, which is available for as a real-time holograms to cherish it. So we have also published our work in the IJO videos, inaugural video, the animations that we done for the gonioscopy, and also the augmented reality in the January issue this year. And the others are also getting ready for more publications. So the Center of Images, we just wanted to give all the possibilities to the user in a cost-effective manner so that learning can be made easy. And as this is my acknowledgements, and as Venkatesa was telling, I was just reminding of this slide. This is my daughter. She's also using the holograms for the Barbie and all her particular things. And that's how things are going forward is what I really think. And this is my team. We have an innovation only team at Mahatma. So these are my team. I would like to acknowledge my team for the team effort. Thank you.
Wonderful. Prasanna.
Thank you, sir.
Because I have seen it firsthand, I know exactly what type of work, and now I have seen Prasanna right from the undergraduate days. And in fact, I can take the credit for counseling Prasanna into ophthalmology. Yeah.
So the holograms I have still not shown you, sir. The real holograms are the hand tracker and the tracking with your eyes that was launched last week, sir. But maybe sometime to all the elite panelists, I'll get an opportunity to show the.
Will this in the future have some clinical relevance, Prasanna?
Yes, sir. So now we have started moving towards, as I told, removing a foreign body or even any OPD procedures, gonioscopic, even inserting it and removing it. Sometimes neophytes may really find it difficult where there may be the cognitive memories, sir. Basically, the hand-eye coordination for all those simulations is where we are now in, sir. Maybe the surgery is a long way to go, but I think hopefully we'll be able to get there in a cost-effective manner.
Beautiful.
Prasanna, I'll strongly recommend you to visit Savita Dental College. Whenever you go down to Chennai,
yes.
Sure, John can also arrange a trip. I can ask somebody to show you around. You can see terrific simulation happening. I've never seen in my life. I've never seen even in US or in Europe like that.
Yes, sir.
One of the best simulations where people can really feel like whatever you're talking, they're already practicing it on a daily basis for both treatment and also for training. Yes. I mean, you can't see a practice like that where they take real teaching into day-to-day practice. And I'm sure if you go there and see, you'll get an idea of how you can take this to the next level.
Yes.
Because I'm sure all these are for the next generation. Like we talk about the children now are internet children who are born during the internet period, right? So they browse everything. but still technologically they seem to be so uncomfortable. No, they think they are in the Google world, but when I ask something about technology, many of them are really, they don't even know how to put a good PowerPoint slide or make a 2D animation or make a small movie. No, but somewhere that is also lacking in part of it. So somewhere if you want to take this around and see how it really applies for teaching, that's a great place to see, which is within our state.
Definitely.
Yeah, Suvan Kumar.
Science. We are getting transported to science fiction now, I think, slowly. Great work, Prasanna. Really appreciate. And the fact that you're making it available for teaching right now is fantastic. I think learning is getting easier for the kids now. Thank you for that. And you're gonna do a lot of good work for us.
Thank you.
Yeah. Wonderful, wonderful, Prasanna. And shall we go on to the next speaker? The other panelists don't have any words? Anything to say? John.
So the metaverse is already here. So Mark Zuckerberg realized that, and he changed his company name to Meta, and he has collected all his other companies as parts of the metaverse. Prasanna is also doing that. He is creating a metaverse of all his innovations, and in fact, because of all this, virtual reality and augmented reality are going to be very affordable. In fact, Geo glasses are there. Facebook is trying to get affordable augmented reality. Apple is trying to get augmented reality coming on, which will not be affordable, but that will make everybody accept augmented reality. So very soon, all this is going to be very easily accessible to everybody. So it is not something which is in the distant future, it is already here.
So an idea of bringing different innovations was to reach as many people as possible. As some people may be comfortable with the models in reality, some people will be comfortable with extended reality. And the cost factor also, as much as possible, we have provided the AR app free of cost. And but for the HoloLens per se, at least they need to have an HoloLens, which is around $2,500. So, but again,
it will come down. It will come down drastically soon.
Very nice, Prasanna.
Thank you.
Next speaker. Since we're already in 9:30 now. Yeah.
Right. So next we have Dr. Megha Nair, who is a DNP resident at Arvindai Hospital, Pondicherry. She, along with Dr. Shivraj Tagare, who is another DNP resident at Arvindai Hospital, Pondicherry, and Dr. Hirika Gosalia, who is a DNP resident at Arvindai Hospital, Coimbatore, has made an innovation called the iWater. I believe this was made during one of the innovation hackathons, I believe. So over to you, Dr. Megha Nair.
I'm very humbled actually to be called to present my innovation here among the great speakers and innovators here. So this was given to us as a problem statement by Dr. Hirika Gosalia from Coimbatore, Aravind. Then me and Shivraj here in Pondicherry for hackathon of 2021, we developed this. It's a very small budding innovation that still needs a lot of processing. I'll be sharing my video right now.
They're only seeing you, Megha.
Sorry, sir, starting now.
Okay.
Is it visible now?
Yes.
iWater. Eversion of eyelids has been a skill-based technique performed by ophthalmologists using their hands. Often, it has been proven to be a challenge in situations such as patients with no eyelashes or mudrosis, those with deep sockets, in uncooperative patients, especially children, and in infective conditions with copious amount of discharge. But the risk of spread of infections through contact during COVID-19 pandemic raised this challenge to a higher level. It was time to come up with a better idea to evert the eyelids without touching. Eversion of eyelids using fingers occurs by combination of two forces, a pulling force by fingers on the eyelashes and a pushing force by the fingers on the upper tarsus. So we thought of recreating these forces without using fingers. Many models were tried. Finally, they were narrowed down to a very simple instrument made of only two materials. One, a double-sided tape, and second, an ice cream stick. The ice cream stick was cut at one end to a length of 3.5 centimeter and a breadth of 6 mm so that it fit just below the upper border of the upper tarsal plate. To the cut end, a double-sided tape of length 3.5 centimeter and breadth 5 millimeter were stuck to. The following video demonstrates the use of eye water. The eye water can be used in routine OPD examination. It has a universal usage in all patients including adults, older and pediatric age groups. It can be manipulated to see the area of interest. Also, double eversion can be tried using this instrument. A similar model was created using 3D printer using polylactic acid. The eye water can be reused by sticking another double tape over it after sterilizing it. Its uses include to examine the upper tarsal conjunctiva and superior fornix, to remove the foreign body in the upper tarsal conjunctiva, saline wash in chemical injuries, to examine swellings of eyelid like internal hordeolum and chalazion, to examine lid pathologies. Helps avoid transmission of infections between doctors and patients. Easily sterilized, very cost effective and economical.
Simple and elegant, Mega.
Thank you so
Really
much,
hats
sir.
off.
Brilliant.
What is the material you used for the first one you showed?
So we used an ice cream stick, sir. The
Ice
the
cream
one that
stick?
yes. The one you get in Chocobar.
Yeah. So you cut that end.
Yes, sir. We measured it as 3.5 centimeter in length and 6 mm in the breadth, and then we put a double-sided tape over it.
Superb.
So we're still actually trying to make a better version through 3D printer. It's still, we are innovating more about it, like how to make a better version of it.
Very nice. Anything from the panelists?
I think it's brilliant. I don't think you should make an effort to make a better version. Brilliantly in all respects. I mean, it's cost effective. It's very innovative. Only thing is that we have to eat an ice cream every time. Otherwise, I thought it was extremely elegant. Brilliant job.
You can invert the lid and after that you can give an ice cream to the patient. You can use the other end, no?
The interesting part is these are all pandemic solutions. No, you never even thought that they wanted to make a solution for this problem. When they were using glouses with antiseptic, hand rub in between, it was so difficult to do all this. And then you had a fear of contamination and all that. So that's when all these problems came. And if you see, this is a team who are just young residents. All were in their second year. Now they are in the final year, just taken their exams. But they have all come up with these problems. It's nice to see that this young generation is coming up with these problems. And then when you give them the resources and the time to think over it, you have solutions like this. It may not be a great solution, but at least it's a start of a very simple solution, which again, they have to look for people who do it as a routine practice, and then they have to make it, improvise it and make it better, work with Oral Lab or whoever is interested to make it better into a product. So where you can just like your streamer ship, it should be available. You just open the paper and then use it and throw it. It's like it won't be very expensive. It should be like less than 5 rupees So wherever you need it, we can do it. Otherwise, we can just simply use our hands to avert. But wherever it's difficult, wherever you think it will be really useful, then it should become a part of our practice.
Yeah,
I
think
think
it's better than using hands. People will be scared the moment you go and touch them. With the hand going to the eye, most of them will get scared. This is nicely going from the side, just touching it. It's very elegant for the patients. It's going with the hands, averting. It looks very crude and it looks like a barbaric act after looking.
That's what we were doing, Reddy. Nice to hear this from you, but that's what we were doing. Even now we are doing.
Yeah, we'll do that. That's not the thing. Even now we are doing, but it's true. It's true. You look at a video like this, and the next day you see a video somebody putting both hands on an eye. It looks like something very awkward.
I think a lot of credit for all these innovations go to Venkatesh and AECS. I've been fortunate to be on most of these innovations when they came up in the pandemic time. Venkatesh has really been spearheading the innovation thing, and having somebody senior like Venkatesh kind of taking that much of interest, and really enthuses these young kids. Thanks, Venkatesh, for all your efforts.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So never waste a bad crisis. So even though life gives you lemons, you make lemonade, you make innovations, you find solutions for all the problems. So that is something which we have to take to heart.
Yeah, never let a good crisis go waste.
Yes,
sir, that's
Winston Churchill.
I was wondering whether Megha, you can do something like this. Some patients, we have to retract the lid because they are very photophobic in the front of the slit lamp. You need to use the fingers.
That is called eye opener, right?
Yeah.
That is called eye opener.
Eye opener.
A small speculum-like thing which is attached to a slit lamp, which can pull the upper lid as well as the lower lid.
That is also
Yeah,
from
actually,
Arvind
sir,
Pondy, sir.
Yes, sir. Actually, there was another innovation called eye opener.
We'll send you a few of the eye openers. I think you have to just try it. You just put a couple of Johnson butts and then it works. But only thing is the tension in that after some period it goes off. So you may have to replace it.
Okay.
It's
That
again
is a 3D printed one.
Yeah,
So
the material
once you
tension
change the
goes off.
material, you will get a better.
Meha, how easy or difficult to remove that sticker from the eyelid?
No, sir, it's very easy actually to remove it doesn't pain also. But the only problem is that after one use, you have to use another one because the stickiness actually goes off after one-time use. You cannot
That
use the
makes
same
sense.
thing again to try.
Avoid infection. You don't want to repeat.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So they already made it disposable.
Yes. By design.
Right.
Very good. Next far.
Thank you so much.
We have kept Dhoni for the last. The finisher, the Dhoni for the last.
Yes, sir. We have Dr.
He is retiring, sir.
We have Dr. Nivian Madhivanan,
Never retired.
who's an academic director, MNI Hospital, Private Limited, innovator of the CM T-Flex IOL. He's the first to perform live 3D cataract surgery in South India, a specialist MICS surgeon, 1.8 millimeter phacoemulsification for cataract, a specialist in MIVS 23 gauge vitrectomy, and he's the youngest to have performed live surgery at various conferences and recipient of the Young Achiever Award. Over to you, Nivian, sir.
Thank you, Prasanna, for this kind introduction. I'm just sharing my screen. Yeah. So respected teachers, senior ophthalmologists, my dear friends. So I'm going to talk about the new CM T-Flex IOL for the treatment of aphakia. Am I audible?
Boss.
Yes, sir. Audible, sir.
Sure. So as all these innovators said, the entire question comes with why. So that is how it all started. So we know for secondary IOLs, we had the Gabor Chariot who revolutionized the externalization of the haptics, because before that we had the sutured scleral fixated IOLs. And then from that, Amar Agarwal modified the technique as the glued IOL technique. And then we have the Arvind Zone system, the XNIC technique, where they externalized the haptics using the needle. And then Yamane came out of the technique where they externalized the haptic and then the cautery was done. So these were all various modifications of the existing technique using the three-piece IOL that we had. So that is when the question arises in my mind, why not have a specially designed IOL for these kind of aphakic patients? So there came the birth of the CM T-Flex IOL. As you can see, it's a single piece hydrophilic lens with a specialized T-shaped haptics on either side. So the entire concept is based on when you bring out these T-shaped haptics out of the sclerostomies, they open up and prevent the falling back of the IOL. So just going through one case scenario, as you can see, a 360-degree subluxated lens here, planned for a lensectomy with a secondary IOL fixation. And we all know for all secondary IOLs, the key factor is the 0-180-degree marking, because that helps in the stability of the lens and the rotational thing and the astigmatism also. So we make a partial 2 by 2.5 millimeters scleral flap using a crescent blade on either side. And then 1.5 millimeters away from the limbus, a 23 gauge sclerostomy is made. The second thing done differently in this case is we did not use extra trocars because we already have these 23 gauge sclerostomies. So just used a needle to stabilize the lens, because as we are surgeons, you know that once it goes back, it becomes a whole new ballgame into the vitreous cavity. So I wanted to puncture it from the posterior aspect after cutting a little bit of vitreous, and seeing it's a soft lens, the combination of high speed cutting and vacuum, so the entire lensectomy could be performed, making sure none of these bits fall into the vitreous cavity. So this is the new CM T-Flex IOL. As you can see, the loading is into a simple normal cartridge like any IOL. So the only key thing is maybe you can put the T junction so that when you inject it, it comes out first. So these are the specially designed Sprenov forceps. You can see those broad tip. So you can grasp either the head or the neck. As you can see, the parts the neck. But at this time, we do not pull out the lens. The rest of the lens is injected because that can actually detach it from the body of the lens. So now the rest of the lens is just injected and the trailing haptic is kept in the wound, or sometimes you can keep it over the iris and then gently pull it out. You can see a pop sound, and then when it happens, the T opens up. So that is almost the end of one side, isn't it? So just to show you a normal animation clip. So loading is in any cartridge, and then as you slowly inject, you can see the T haptic coming out. Ideally, it will be in the head and the neck if you can catch both together. And that makes it easier when it actually comes out through the sclerostomy. And those T haptics stay in position and the flaps are closed. So moving on to the other side using the handshake technique. So you grasp the arm of the IOL design and then transfer the other haptic, as you can see here. Head on is the easiest way because that way the T junction comes out more smoothly rather than holding the neck, even though they are very flexible lenses. So that is another advantage of the hydrophilic material here. So once that is done, that is almost the end of the surgery. You can see well-centered IOL, stable. So you don't have to do any more suturing or tucking or anything else. So most of the times we use glue, but actually glue is also not necessary. So now we have modified the technique of instead of the flaps, we can make even scleral grooves where these haptics actually just sit under the groove. So these are some of the post-op immediate results. As you can see, day one, well-centered IOL, round pupils, because these lenses have an angulation also. So the UBM pictures in the study shows that there's no rubbing against iris or pigment release or any glaucoma that is induced because of the lens. And also some studies of OCT on how the scleral flap behaves under the IOL. So we have publications that has gone, and another 2 publications are in progress right now. And this is just to show that it is only not for a VR surgeon, even the anterior segment surgeons can perform when you have a complication in SACS like this. You can see the wound that is sutured. So you don't have to do a full vitrectomy or the pars plana approach. You can do the same technique as a secondary procedure, like how we normally do a claw lens or any other secondary IOL procedure. So, but adequate vitrectomy is required if you can do it through the anterior approach, through the 2 side ports that are available. So just bringing out the haptics, you can see the haptic pops out and that stays there. And then the same is done on the other side. So you don't need the trocars, or sometimes you can just, if the infusion is there, you can make an AC maintainer also. You can see just always in the end of the surgery, it is good to check with triamcinolone acetonide if there's any vitreous remaining, so you can always remove it. So I'll do it in all secondary procedures. So this is, yes, every procedure has some complications. You can have breakage of haptics that if you actually pull, so there is a short learning curve, but not very difficult. Slippage can occur when there is more force or the measurements are not right when you have large eyes or small eyes. So sometimes the measurement of the corneas and white to white is also important, as we have only standard sizes now. Late dislocations haven't been reported much at all in my case series, at least. Iritis, yes, in a very small series. So what I like to do is like I like to thank all the panelists who are here, because for each panelist there's a reason that they are here. So my journey also started 3 years back when I first launched this lens in Tnoa, and I did the presentation. Mohan Rajan sir was the one who launched the lens. So that is the first time when I presented about this lens. Venkatesh sir was the one who came and gave me the confidence about the idea and what had to be done in a long-term follow. So that really helped me to do studies about the UBM, so to know how the lens sits, and also about, he was very particular on how the scleral flap behaves, because it is kept outside and whether there'll be any erosions. And then when the next year when I presented in All India, I think I had a breakfast session with Suvin sir, and he was very nice enough to tell me about the importance of patency, because these are all other youngsters who are presented. So it is how to take your innovations forward is the most important key step after the innovation. So he really told me about the difficulties and what has to be done to get it patented, because he had done it for the BHEX and he did it all by himself, and how it is successful right now. So that was again a very big learning curve for me. And then moving on, JK sir has always been an inspiration, because he's the one, he helped me work with the InFocus lens, and he's the sole inventor of the InFocus, which he doesn't tell outside. So he really helped me in saying how to get to the A constant and how to actually make the design simpler. We had a more bulkier design, and then we actually did some modification in the parts of the lens to make it actually simpler and easier to use. And then I was there lucky enough to share the session with Kumar Doctor sir, and he had come out with a lot of questions to me on that day, which I didn't have answers for, even from the diameter of the hole that was there.
The Gurgaon
and also
yeah,
the thickness of the T-junction. So he actually told me like how you can make it actually flatter, so it easily comes out through the 23 gauge sclerostomies, and then it is not bulky, or post-operatively you don't see that bulge in these patients. So all these things made me think, and every time make constant changes, because invention is not the key thing, then to continuously do and make sure it is sustainable in the long run and it benefits the patient. In the end of the day, as clinicians, I think whatever innovation we do, it should be beneficial to the patients, and that is how they've all helped me in this journey here, the entire panels. So thank you once again, TMA, Mohan Rajan sir, for giving this wonderful opportunity, John, for including me in this, and thank you once again.
Fantastic. I don't know, Kumar, you had a lot of questions during our session.
I know, sir.
Last year,
I didn't have answers that time.
Gurgaon conference when we presented, and we were asking, we were on the dais together, and we are also concerned about the size of sclerotomy and also the haptic staying outside, whether there will be any erosion or something like that. So that is one concern which we had. So till now we have not had any case of.
No, sir, no exposure. Yeah. We slowly moved on to the groove actually. So we
yeah, that's a good idea, Nivian. Taking a tunnel, rather than a flap. Instead of flap, you take a tunnel and just pull into the tunnel. Nicely, it looks very nice.
Yes, sir. Simpler also.
Nivian, one question: What forceps are you using? You're using a VR forceps for that? It's a vitreoretinal forceps.
I've actually designed two forceps, sir. So one thing is to grab the haptic that only the tip alone is broad.
Yeah, I got that. I saw that. It was a much flatter one. But what I'm asking is, what's the length of the stock? Is it the standard VR forceps?
Yeah. The other measurements are the standard VR forceps.
Yeah. So there I would give you a small tip. Because you're a retinal surgeon, you're using a VR forceps, and actually it's counterproductive. Use a shorter stock length, 15 to 18 millimeters, because you don't need that much of length. The longer VR forceps is actually unwieldy over there. You're not going into the posterior segment at all. You hardly go. You just need to grasp that T and bring it out. You don't need anything more than 15 millimeters. That will make your forceps handling much easier.
Yes. Maybe 10 to, maximum you need 10 to 13 millimeters.
That's why the BX forceps is also there. You have VR forceps, but I've damaged all my VR forceps doing that. So then I made it a shorter one. So I damaged a few. I started off as a VR surgeon, so I have damaged all my VR forceps for that. So you can make it shorter. It's much more wieldy, in the anterior chamber.
And handling in the anterior chamber is easier also.
Yeah.
You can use the glued IOL forceps, which is made by the Epsilon. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
That also can be done. That grabs very well also.
Correct, sir.
Another thing is, do you have the different sizes even?
Lenses as of now, no, sir. Only standard lenses. So ideal corneal diameter between anything between.
What
10
about
to
high
20.
myopes and all? We find it difficult, no?
We had this question a lot. Right now, we have done only 2 cases where we have made the sclerostomy slightly closer. And also we can go vertical if the vertical diameter is less. Hypermetros, we can go up to 2 millimeters. So we're only altering the length of the sclerostomy right now. But they said if at all we have extreme eyes, the lens can be customized. The whole problem is getting a mold to make a different size lens is becoming difficult or more expensive.
Wonderful.
No, I don't think you should worry about more expensive, because this technique, according to me, will replace all the 3Ps going in there. So this is much easier, much lesser learning curve, etc., etc., etc. Even you can think ahead, the guys who are making the lens, nowadays they make toric IOLs only in a horizontal plane. So in the future, you can make this so much advanced that even toricity can be removed because it can be made in a horizontal plane. Only thing here, one thing, as you mentioned, that vitrectomy is necessary. So you can't have a bag sitting there. So all these cases should never have a bag or any part of the phonics of the bag sitting there. So that is one more take-home message, I guess, you have to give with this kind of IOL.
Yes, sir.
I think all glued IOLs, SF IOL, all the bag, the cortical remnants, everything has to be cleared up. The anterior vitrectomy, use tricot for that, and make sure that your entire that pupillary area and also the sulcus area is completely clear before you insert these lenses.
Nivian, the only way you can kind of make your design more flexible for all sizes of the eyes is to have a concept like the ties we have for the plastic ties we have for shopping bags, or even for electrical wires and things. That we use those ties, which have those serrated things, and they lock in when you pull.
Mm-hmm. So adjust the size of the.
Yes, so to adjust that, so something which is a non-return, it's a kind of you pull it once and it just kind of, but that will become very cumbersome because this is just some food for thought, because the external part will again have to be adjusted, but that's the only way you can have it adjustable. You have to give the user the adjustability that they can for different sizes of eyes. For the sulcus to sulcus diameter is going to vary.
Yes, sir.
So for that, you'll have to have some, because you cannot keep making, the inventory becomes too huge.
Yes.
And these are not something which you're going to be using every day.
Yes, sir.
So this is going to be a backup. So people cannot keep so much of inventory, and you cannot plan a PC rent.
Only the myopes becomes a problem, and extreme hyperopes, remaining all can be managed with
yes, sir.
This lens.
As Venkatesh said, even I had crisis because when I launched it is when the COVID time started. So there was not much of usage, but happy that this year, at least across India, we have almost done 200 implants. So we're trying to collect the data and see what other things or any other modifications that can be done, and to also see how the results are on a long-term basis.
So this is commercially sold?
Yes, sir. Now it's available.
Yes, it's available.
By Appasamy.
Appasamy.
Okay. With your name?
CMT Flex, sir.
CMT, you know what CM stands for? Kumar.
Yeah.
Shalini Madi. Yeah, Shalini Madi.
Nivian.
That is a passport also to get a free lens.
Yes, sir. It will be delivered by this week.
No, I'm just kidding, sir.
And one last question. I think it's time to finish also. Now, thinking of the flange technique, looks really great now and very simple than even fixing with the sclera. I mean, will you think T-flex in a different way when you see the flange technique today?
Whether we can make different haptics, like a
with a suture, and then you just flange it and push it.
Actually, with a hydrophilic material, you won't even you can have it pre-flanged and pull it through, because the hydrophilic will stretch.
It's like that only.
It's straight after that.
Yeah.
What is having T is like that, a pre-flange. Because it's almost like a pre-flange. What is this one? The flange technique advantage is very thin, and you can use, if you want to flatten or during surgery create a flange, then you have to use only PMMA material or Prolene. Here it's a one-piece hydrophilic. We cannot use it. You cannot heat it and make it. But flange technique, tilt is not in everybody's hands. Most of the people, almost 60% of the implants, they are having some unacceptable tilt and astigmatism in flange technique.
How's the tilt over here?
Tilt is almost nil. I think it's
Yes, sir.
because it's got a T.
0-180 marking is appropriate. I think if you go a little off that, then there can be a tilt. It depends on the 0-180.
I think slightly broader fixation. No, I think tilt will be very less. Yeah. Anyway, I think we have come to the end of the session. Right?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mohan. Fantastic.
And I will request John to give the vote of thanks.
So I would like to thank the Tamil Nadu Ophthalmic Association for this wonderful opportunity. I would like to thank Mohan Rajan sir for putting together this program. In fact, we had a very bad 2 years with the pandemic and everything. All our conferences were cancelled. We had ideas of meeting up, presenting innovations, and having hackathons. All that was gone with the pandemic. And now with webinars such as this, specifically targeting innovations, we are able to put forward all these. So I would like to thank Mohan Rajan sir for this. I would like to thank all the panelists. Each one of them have inspired and mentored several innovators, and everybody here has loads to thank. Each one of the panelists here, Dr. Venkatesh sir, Dr. Kumar Doctor sir, Dr. Suven Bhattacharya sir, J.K. Reddy sir, and everybody here. And all the innovators here, I would like to thank each one of them and ask them to continue innovating and keep putting forward their ideas and innovations and mentor other innovators too. Thank you, everybody.
John, as a president, I would like to. I would like to say a few words. I want to confess that it is probably one of the most stimulating and exciting webinars I've had in the recent times. We've had for all subspecialties of ophthalmology, but something which is new. And every guy who's presented was so good and so innovative and so new. And I was really amazed and fascinated by the knowledge of all the speakers and also the panelists. I think it's been a wonderful, really wonderful session, and we'll probably repeat it in the future. Probably next month also, we'll have another set of innovators. And though it is a TNOA Young Innovator, we want all India participation. That is the main idea. And so get John, I think I'll put you on the job, you and Prasanna on the job for this, and probably get the next set of innovators, probably next month, third week of February, probably we'll meet up again. And so that we can open up new ideas and everybody can learn from this.
Sure, sir.
Thank you, Mohan, for the kind invitation. Thank you, Mohan, sir, for the kind invitation.
Yeah, special
for me, TNA is always homecoming for me.
I know.
I started my first conference. Yeah.
Special thanks to Numerotech for the tech support for all these.
For the excellent support, and I'm powered by Allergan. Allergan people supported this program, and they'll be supporting the future programs also. A very special thanks to all the panelists. Kumar, Thank you. Fantastic.
Thank you, sir.
Kumar, you've been a great friend and a great mentor for everybody. And I'm such a great guy you are. And J.K. Reddy, and of course, Venkatesh. Venkatesh, I would say, the guy who's really the king of Aravind Pondicherry. Really fantastic. The way he thinks, the way he innovates and gives new ideas, and he encourages everybody to come up. And that's, I think, is one of the greatest virtues Venkatesh has got. We are all very glad to have all these people in Tamil Nadu. I think that's the reason why TNOA is shining today. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Take care.
Bye. Bye. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Prasanna, thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks a lot. Fantastic presentation as usual.
Thank you, sir.
We'll come up with another program like this.
Sure, sir.